All right. So, first thing we're going to start with is some spinal rolling. So I'll have you guys move to the front of your mat. The purpose of this is to get your muscles around your spine to loosen up. So I'll wrap up nice and tight here. We're going to do this for 1 minute. I'm going to roll back up, and the goal is to try to stay balanced at the top without putting your feet down. We'll go 1 minute of spinal rolling. I'll show you guys from a side view here while you keep moving. I'm gonna wrap up tight, eyes on my belly button, roll up to balance, and set my spine up nice and tall. Get about 20 seconds left here. Loosen up all those muscles around the spine. Let's do one more. All right. Now that we're at the top of that, we're going to move on to a glute bridge and try to fire up the back side of our midsection or core. From here, I want you to press your hands into the mat, roll your shoulders back. Your feet should be about where you can touch them. And you're going to bridge up and roll down one vertebrae at a time. We're going to go through this glute bridge for 1 minute to get our glutes and hammies fired up and help get our pelvic alignment muscles working in our favor. You can breathe either way here, in on the way up, out on the way down, or in reverse. As long as you're matching your breath with part of the movement, that is the key to what we're looking for here. 5 seconds left. Let's get one more glute bridge in there. Bridge, roll down. Nice work. Up next, we're going to move on to a plank. So when you flip over, hands are going to be underneath your shoulders, feet and knees together. Try to keep your body in a straight, rigid line here. We'll hold this for 1 minute as well. The goal here, once again, fire up some of those anterior core muscles through your abdominal region and let your pelvis start to feel what hasn't been working in its favor to keep you all lined up. If you feel like you need to, you can always drop down to your knees. Totally fine with that. We're all working at different levels. Just gotta get the job done. So we'll go another 20 seconds here. Getting close. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Up next, we're going to move on to what's called a quadruped groiner. So this is going to be inner thigh stretch here, only on all fours. Hands are going to be into your shoulders, knees into your hips. I'm going to stick one leg out to the side here, and for 30 seconds, I'm going to sit back and lean forward. And we'll do this once again for 30 seconds on this side, and then we'll switch over to the side you are not on. Let's do one more here. Go ahead and switch to the other side. Remember that knee comes back under your hip, legs out, and shift and sink into your hips here. Should really feel a good stretch right across this inner thigh. Getting close, another 10 seconds here, and we'll transition. Last one. Good work. Up next, I'm going to show you from a side view spinal waves or spinal segmentation. So setup is exactly the same. You're gonna have your hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your feet. I'm gonna start at my tailbone here. I'm gonna slowly tuck my hips underneath me, trying to work one vertebra at a time until I can get myself into a fully rounded position here. Tucking my head, pressing through my upper back and tucking my glutes or hips underneath me. To go back the other direction, I'm going to keep rounded up top and slowly start arching from the bottom, one vertebrae at a time here, until I get into a fully arched position. I'm trying to run my shoulder blades down the back of my rib cage, press my stomach down, and hold this position for a second. To go back the other direction, once again I keep my chest up, I roll at the pelvis, and slowly start to come all the way back into that rounded position. This time, when you get to the very top of your spot or your range of motion, I want you to take and twist towards one side and hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back to the middle, slowly twist to the other side, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Come back to the middle, find that most rounded position, and then slowly start to work from your tailbone up your spine, back into a fully arched position. Once you're here, I want you to take that same twist to the side and hold it for 3, 2, 1. We'll slowly go back to the middle and then work to the other side for 3, 2, 1. Back to the middle position in your full arch. And we're going to go through this one more time, rolling up one vertebra at a time to get back up to the top in that rounded position. Hold it. And slowly work your way back into that arch position. Slide those shoulder blades down your rib cage. And then work back to neutral. Good job. That was a tough one. We're gonna work up into our shoulder blades now. So, hands stay in the same place, knees and feet stay in the same place. I'm really just gonna focus on squeezing my shoulder blades together and then pressing them really far apart. So my arms stay locked out. I'm just pressing my shoulder blades together and then apart. So we'll work through this range of motion for a second, and then we'll switch it up. All right, come back to neutral. Now we're going to take our shoulders, the end of our shoulders up to our ears, and then pull them away. So work into a shrug, and then go away from the shrug. We're just working up and down this time, instead of bringing together apart. Up next, we're going to roll those shoulder blades. So instead of going 2 directions, we're going to go into a big full circle here. Doing shoulder rolls, keeping my my elbows locked out so my arms are straight. Now stop in wherever position you're at and reverse that. So now I'm going the opposite direction. Remember, whatever pace you go at is up to you and what your body is telling you. Remember to listen to what feedback you're getting as you work through these movements. On to the next. We're going to stay in the same position and work more of an alignment type of exercises with bird dog. So I'm going to take my opposite hand and opposite leg. I'm going to reach them out straight. It's like I'm trying to take and draw a line between my toes and my fingertips. keeping my core facing the ground and being aware that I'm not rotating or bending anywhere that I shouldn't be. We're gonna work 30 seconds here, nothing too long. Keep focused on that straight line position. And make sure you are breathing. Ten seconds left. Whew, nice job. Now is a great time to grab a quick drink. So let's pop over, hydrate, coffee, water. Hopefully no booze this early. Up next, we're gonna work into an alternating hip flexor stretch. It's going to open up the front side of our hips. So I'm gonna have you guys start with your hands on your hips here. You're gonna reach that leg out in front, lean and press this hip forward, come back to a kneeling position. Same thing on the other side. We're gonna work 30 seconds here, just alternating directions in which we're opening up our hip flexors in that quad region. Important to note, as you go through this, I'm not arching, keeping my hands on my hips for stability, and I'm pressing with my glute to drive these hips forward. We'll go another 5-10 seconds here, just to let you really get finished through this movement. And done. Up next, we're gonna work into our shoulders. So we're transitioning to the other side of our body. Same setup as what you just finished with. I want one knee down, one leg out in front. Here's kind of what to expect from a side view. The goal here is to keep stable through everywhere except for the shoulder I'm working on. So I'm gonna work through the same shoulder that my knee is down on. This hand I can keep across here, or I can keep tight to my body. I want you to start here with your hand reaching towards the ground, shoulders locked in, stomach braced, and I'm gonna pull this hand to the midline of my body. Palm facing in. I'm gonna run out of room right about here, so I'll turn my palm out and rotate it all the way out and around. So when I finish this movement, my palm is facing this direction. Kick back out, open all the way up. And we are going to work through 2 more of these on our right side, left side, whichever side you started. And then we'll go to the other side. I'm gonna stop talking for the rest of these reps just to let you really focus in on where your movement is coming from. Should be done with your first side or getting very close. As soon as you finish up there, we'll switch our knees around. So I'll get my other knee down, other leg up front. Remember, stay stable with this opposite side and really everywhere except for the shoulder you're trying to work. We'll go through 3 reps on this side. Midline of my body. Up, palm out. One down, 2 to go. Last rep here, and then we'll move on to our next series. Reverse it, palm is out, palm turns back, all the way around. Finish at your midline. Great work. Up next, we're gonna work into a combat stretch position. So I'm gonna have my foot, one foot facing kind of at a 45-degree angle out. Now the legs tucked back underneath with my foot, the top of my foot, really being facing down to the mat. From here, I just want you guys to sink into this stretch, leaning into the same direction the knee is pointed. That should pull right across the back of your soleus, maybe up into your calf and your hip some. Hopefully give you a good pull here. Focus on your breathing to settle into this position. Exhales should cue you to relax and sink deeper into your stretches. So now that we've sat here for a second, I want both hands inside of your legs here. The first movement I'm going to take is the side that my knee is down on. I'm going to open up and reach to the ceiling. Second one, forearm goes down, reach with the opposite arm to the ceiling. We're going to work back and forth here for 30 seconds to start to open up your thoracic spine with some rotation. All right, let's transition to the other side. Hands down, switch your feet. Remember, one leg is up and one leg is tucked underneath here. Let's get you familiar with this position on the other side. Once again, reaching out over the same direction as knee and foot is facing. All right, so remember both hands right inside your knee and your foot. I'm going to turn towards the side that the leg is down first. Take my forearm down, back to the ceiling. We are here for 30 seconds, working back and forth to open up that thoracic spine and rotation. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Good job. So let's take a quick drink and then we'll move on to our next portion. Let me sink into a downward dog, a child's pose stretch. Hands are out in front. Sink back to where your butt goes toward your heels. Reach those arms out, walk them out. Take a couple deep breaths right here. So from here, I'm going to have you shift up just a little bit. Take one arm, thread that needle through until you get your shoulder ideally on the back of the ground here. We're working back into the other direction of thoracic rotation, coming across our body instead of opening up. We'll be here for about 30 to 60 seconds. Probably let's stick with 30. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Nice job. We got 10 seconds left here. Nice job. Up next, we're going to switch, or I'll turn to a different angle, but you guys can stay right. Hands out in front of us. You're going to turn your toes to tuck, and we're going to press up into a downward dog stretch. From here, I want you to press through your shoulders, glide those shoulder blades down your back, the back side of your rib cage, and then try to take your heels to the floor. If you're too far out, you may not be able to do that, so if you need to walk up a little bit, that's totally fine. You can also switch back and forth with some calf raises here, like you're running your feet, to help add a little more of a stretch to one side or the other. Next, I'm gonna have you take one foot, step it forward. So from here, I'm in a split hamstring position, getting a lot of pressure on this front hamstring, comfortable pressure, nothing sharp. We don't want any super acute pains. There should be a good, comfortable stretch here. If you need to, you can always put one hand down to twist. You can always sit up and lean forward some. You want to really exhale as you can, as much as you can on these big, deep breaths so you can really sink into this deep hamstring stretch. All right, switch legs. One leg goes back, the other leg comes forward. Same idea here, trying to take that back heel down, pressing most of my way through my front foot and getting a big stretch across my hamstring. Big deep breaths, exhale to sink deeper into that stretch. All right, make your way back down to your mat. Up next, we're gonna find our way into a 90-90 position. From here, to get into that 90-90 position, I like to use my mat as a reference. I want my front shin square with the front of my mat. I want my back shin squared or in line with the side of my mat, creating a bunch of 90-degree angles that should be able to fit a rectangular box right here. From here, I want you to put one hand on the outside, one hand on the front, and you want a strict hinge at the crease of your hip here. Keep your back flat and then lean forward to get a good stretch on your external hip rotators. We're gonna hold this for about 20 seconds to get you into a good position to start before we start moving around from this 90-90 position. All right, so we're gonna go into a four-way 90-90. Come back up to where your body's in a real tall posture. One is leaning forward. Two, I'm gonna grab my outside shin and loop my hand through here to pull into internal rotation on the back hip. Three, I'm turning away or across from my body to take my forearm down. Think about wringing out your lower back here. Four, I'm gonna take and lean over the top into this stretch and open up our lateral lines on each side. To transition to the other side, I'll turn and show you guys from this view. I would like you to either A, if you can, hold your hands out in front here. If you need to, totally fine, put them out back. Your goal is to open this hip and leave this one behind as long as you can. So I'm trying to keep as much space as I can from one side to the other. And we'll sink into that same 20 to 30 second stretch on the front hip to open up or loosen up those external hip rotators. So we'll hold here for another 15 seconds and then we'll start flowing through this a little bit quicker. 3, 2, 1. Sit back up nice and tall. Here's where we'll start the flow. We're gonna go back and forth a few times after we run you through it one more time. So step one, sit up tall. The first of the four-way 90-90 is a strict hinge forward on the external rotators. I'm gonna grab a hold of my shin and turn into my internal rotators. I'm gonna wring my back out by rotating across my body. I'm gonna come back to my shin and open up the lateral lines of my body. This is mermaid stretch for you Pilates people. One of my favorites. And now we'll transition back over to the other side. Should end up in the same position. So here's where we'll pick up the pace. We're gonna do 3 set times through on each side. So start with me right here. I'm up nice and tall. 1, hinge forward. 2, turn into your body. 3, turn away from your body. 4, reach over your body. And then the other side, reach away. So there are your 4 ways. Now I'm going to transition over to the other side. I'm going to go hinge, forward, turn, in, turn, away, reach back over, and then reach away. That's 1. We're going to go through this 2 more times. Hands in front or behind, transition to the other side. Lean, twist in, twist away, reach over, reach away, transition, lean forward, turn in, turn across, reach over, reach away. We're going to do 1 more on each side, so open all the way back up, lean forward, twist in, twist away, reach over the top, and then the opposite direction. Going into our last one here, hang with me. Arms out in front or behind. I'm going to lean forward, twist in, twist away or across. Reach up over the top, the opposite direction, and then we're going to finish opened up to the middle here. So I'm going to pull your feet in for a good butterfly stretch. If you can open it up a little bit too, that works as well. So I'll go a little bit open. My goal now is to use my elbows to help press my hips down, but also set my spine up tall. In a perfect world, use your glutes to actually pull your hips open. So using those hips to pull into a tall posture and open up those inner thighs. Hold this for another 10 seconds, and then we'll transition into some accessory and spine work. Another good time for a drink. So get some fluids in you. All right, from here, we're gonna work into some knee and ankle carves. So I'll roll up the sleeve of my leg pant or my pants here. I want you guys to loop underneath this. Use your hands to grasp, pull this into you and sit up tall. From there, I want you to flex your foot, pull it back to you, pull your toes to you, and put your fingers right below your kneecap at the top of your lower leg and start to shift back and forth here. You should feel your tibia move. That's what we're going for, some tibial rotation and working the outer ranges of the tibia. Once you figure that out, come back to clasp, sit up tall, pull in tight. We're gonna start by pulling in, turn the shin out, go up as far as you comfortably can, turn the shin in, and then come back down. We'll keep going through this. As I go up, I wanna focus on not turning my foot in. I don't wanna rotate my foot in. I wanna keep my foot flat here and come back down. Once we've done 3 that direction, we're gonna come back inside and flip in a reverse order. So beforehand I was going out, up, and in. Now I'm going in, up, and out. So to switch to our ankle, we're gonna grab a hold of our forearm and then cover up our shin here. So this is gonna help keep our tibia from moving as much. We don't want that now that we're working on our ankle. I'm gonna point my toes and draw a really big circle with this ankle. 3 one way, and then flip that in the opposite direction to go in reverse. Good deal. Other leg now. So I'm gonna hook underneath. I'm gonna grab a hold either at my bicep and lock or at my hand and clasp. You wanna stay nice and tall with your knee pulled to your chest. Pull your foot towards you and then turn out. Oops, sorry, let's go back and forth here. Out and in. Let's get that tibia moving on this side before we start working into longer ranges. Now we'll go out, up, in, down, We'll do one more this direction, and then we'll switch and reverse direction. Moving on to the ankle, remember grab the forearm, block across the shin, point your toe, and then let's draw circles each direction here. We're just doing 3 reps. It's okay to have one side that maybe doesn't move as well as the other. That is totally common. I can feel for you guys that are feeling that right now. My left side's a little clunky compared to my right. So from there, we're gonna work into a couple of spine exercises. We'll do a little bit of wrist work, and then we'll call it good for the day. Before we get going into the wrist stuff, we're gonna work through the spine. So I'm gonna get you guys laying on the length of your mat. You're gonna go ahead and keep your, or flatten your back out on the ground here. Arms are pressed in, so I'm pulling my shoulders back. I'm gonna tuck my knees in. I'm gonna reach my feet behind me, and I'm gonna roll down one vertebrae at a time here. Trying to segment my spine. A little bit better view for some of you guys. It doesn't give you a full-on butt shot. We'll come here. I'm gonna tuck back, and I'm gonna try to roll down one vertebrae at a time with as much control as I possibly can. For some of you that may be here, you may be able to take it a little further. Everybody's gonna be a different place. As long as you're moving through it, that's all that matters. Let's go through one more. Reach, press those arms in, control, slow rolls down onto the mat. Nice job. From here, we're gonna flip over onto our stomach. I want your elbows underneath your shoulders. Relax your lower body, shake your hips out, and then use your shoulder blades to push down your rib cage and lift your chest. So I'm thinking about stretching my chest up as I come into this prone cobra position. Take a few big deep breaths. From here, I want you to take your chin and tuck it to your chest. Draw a big circle all the way around. We'll go 3 times, one direction, and then 3 times the other. Think about trying to draw a big circle with your chin, and that will get you all the range of motion you need. If you have sharp pains, shorten the circle, see if that helps get rid of it. If it doesn't, just pull it tight and we'll move on to the next one here shortly. Before we do, if you can, go ahead and press up. Get as extended as you possibly can. If the elbows are your best position, that's totally fine as well. Just trying to get a little bit more range of motion here. And then lower back down. Last 2 exercises. First one is a wrist roll. So clasp your hands together. You're gonna have each fingers crossed, and we're just gonna draw a figure 8 with our wrists here. Think about alternating which side of your palm is up. Now we're gonna do that going the opposite direction. So flip that around. We'll do this for about 15 seconds. Then we have one more exercise, and we'll get you guys started with your Monday. Up next, I'm gonna cross my hands so my elbows are out in front of me and my hands are on my shoulder caps. From here, I'm gonna turn my body so one elbow is up, one is down. I'm gonna pull through, turn up, pull through, turn up, pull through, and now start to create more of a fluid motion here. Once you've done this for a little bit in one direction, I want you to stop and then reverse it so you can get your spine moving a little bit more before we let you go for the day. So finish up where you need to there. And before you get going, I just want to say a couple quick things. First of all, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I've had an absolute blast teaching this last night. in this morning. I'm really excited about potentially doing this in the future. So if you liked it, please give me feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to hear how I did, maybe some things you'd like to see or when you'd like to see it and how often. So